Namaste, hello, and welcome back to another video on Hamsavahini, Vajraasthra. My name is Awhona, and today's video is going to be very exciting because I'll be sharing my pile of possibilities for Middle Grade Mayhem 2023. Now, Middle Grade Mayhem is a month-long readathon which has been hosted by Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books, Storm from Storm Reads, Lee from Dark Roots Creation, and Beth from Soul Stained Ink. First, I would like to congratulate Beth from Soul Stained Ink for the wonderful news that you did share. Congratulations once again. And I will be sharing my pile of possibilities, and I call it my pile of possibilities because fortunately I have found one book per prompt per host. So it's going to be very exciting, and I will try my best to cover all the books up and share my thoughts about them with you. Maybe not too soon, but yes, there definitely will be a couple of videos that I'll be sharing with you. So do please join me further in this video. So now let's come around to what the Readathon is all about. Now the Readathon is obviously about reading middle grade books, and there is a theme which has been given by each of our hosts. So we have 4 themes, and there are 3 prompts per theme. So we can read, we can mix and match, we can double up, triple up, etc. That's all allowed. So I'll first start with the theme of Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books. Her theme is fun. So the first prompt is to read a book which has an adventure in it. So I have chosen the book Wave Riders by Lauen St.John, and this is a story about twins who are orphaned at a very young age, and they have a guardian called Gabriel, and all they do is sail at the sea. And one day while they're sailing, there's a storm which hits them, and their guardian Gabriel disappears, and they're left all by themselves to fend. They end up on an isolated island. It's not exactly isolated, but they end up in an island, and there's a very rich family who take pity on these twin brothers or twin orphans and adopt them. And once they are adopted and they enter Blackney's manor house, which is where which is their new home now, they discover that there are lots of secrets hidden in the manor house which they need to uncover in order to stay there. And then they realize that these secrets actually all point towards these 2 orphans, and they have to go on a journey to find out more about themselves in order to unravel the mystery of Blackwood Manor. So, Blackney Manor. So and that's the main gist of this particular story. The next prompt is to read a book which has a name or a number in its title. So I have chosen J.L.Esplin's 96 Miles, and it's obviously got a number on it. And this is a story about the Lockwood brothers. Of course, this is not exactly a fun story. It's more about a survival story, but there's a lot of things which can be learned, and it's written beautifully, which is what I've been told. Now this is about the Lockwood brothers, and their father is a believer in survival and self-reliance, and he trains these 2 brothers, and to such an extent that they should be able to drink water if they should from the toilet as well. And they are trained very hard, and one day when their father is away, it there's a massive blackout and their house is robbed completely. They're left with no supplies at all. They are staying in the middle of a desert in Nevada, and these two boys have to walk till for 96 miles in order to get help and to survive. So the journey about self-reliance and what it meant to be self-reliant and put into practice everything that their father has taught them, as well as how they try and get along with each other as well, their entire journey. This is what 96 Miles is all about. So that's the second book that I've chosen. The third prompt is to read a book which has an animal character in it. So the book that I've chosen is called, it's a trilogy of course, so I'm reading the first one, and that's called The Lost Rainforest, Mez's Magic by Eliot Schrefer. Now this is a book about a very beautiful forest. I'm not too sure what is the name of the forest. I believe it's called Caldera, and Caldera is a magical forest which has two sides to itself: the daylight, which is separated from the night. It is separated by a veil, and those creatures who survive in the daylight do not know what is night, and those who survive in the nightlife do not know what is the daylight. So we have a couple of panthers, and there is a sisterhood of panthers, and one of them is called Mez, and she has her favorite sister. And it so happens that there's a stranger who walks into their cave one day and says that Caldera is in danger, and it is up to Mez, who has to discover her latent magical ability to cross over to the make a crossover from the whale and go into the daylight and try and find out the solution to the problem. So this is what the story is about, and there are lots of other subplots which of course I do not know because I've not read this book. So those will be the three books that I will be reading for Elizabeth's theme of fun. Now coming around to Storm's prompts from Storm Reads, of course. So her first prompt is to read a book which has a house on the cover or has a reference to the house. So for this I'll be reading The House with Chicken Legs by Sophie Anderson, and this is basically about a girl who is supposed to go and stay in a with her grandmother, and her grandmother happens to be Baba Yaga. So I don't need to say much about this. There's a house over here, and it's on chicken legs, so it's from the Russian myth of Baba Yaga. So let's see what this book encompasses. I'll be sharing my thoughts on that book with you after I complete it. The second book, or the second prompt, is to read a book which has a spooky cover. So for this I've chosen Lindsay Dugas' The Haunting, and this it's not exactly spooky, but yes, it is sort of spooky because there is this girl who is getting adopted, and she goes into Blackthorn Manor, and Blackthorn Manor is haunted, and she ends up making friends with this ghost, and she realizes later that it is that the girl whom she talks to every day is the entity who haunts this Blackthorn Manor, and what all she makes this adopted girl do. So that's the basic idea of the story plot over here. And the third book is to the third prompt is to read a book which has a sort of light source on its cover. So for this I did choose The Secret Grave by Louis Ruby, and it's got this light which is being held by the angel. It's also got a house over here, and it's also got this hand which is coming out from the grave. So this actually is a book which counts for all the three prompts over here, but this is also about a grave which is haunted, and a house, a Victorian house or Victorian style house, which is the new residence of children, and they discover that there is this grave, and they don't know how they end up standing in front of the grave, but then the story goes on from there. So it's a sort of haunting, it's a sort of old manor houses, as well as a spooky feel to it. So those will be the 3 books that I will attempt to read, at least for Storm's theme. Now, the third theme has been given by Beth from Soul State Inc. And her theme is Diaspora, which means stories of cultures and stories of people who have immigrated or are dispersed. So the first prompt within this theme is to read a book which is from a different culture. So for this I have chosen Zachary Ying and the Dragon Emperor by Ziren J. Zhao, and this is a very interesting novel. It's about this boy who happens to be the descendant of the first Chinese emperor, or the Dragon Emperor, and he's not aware of his Chinese heritage at all. And he is selected by the soul of this Dragon Emperor. Now this Dragon Emperor is back, he is resurrected, and he needs to take full control and possess his descendant. But unfortunately, instead of possessing the body of his descendant, the Dragon Emperor gets interlocked with the AR gaming headset of this boy. The boy is a gamer. He is a hardcore gamer, and it is up to this Dragon Emperor as well as this boy who needs to go and seal the ancient portal to the underworld, which the Dragon Emperor has come back for, and he needs to travel across to China and learn about his own heritage in order to do this. So this is a very interesting novel. So that's the first one that I've selected. The second prompt is to read a book which has mythology in it. So for this I have chosen something closer to home, which is The Serpent's Secret by Kiran Mala and the Kingdom Beyond, and it's a very famous book. This is the first in the series, or the Kiran Mala series, and it is about this girl who is used to hearing stories from her parents and her grandparents about mythology, as well as about serpents, as well as demons and the other world, and enemies and kings, etc. And she never really believed the fact that she was the long lost descendant of a very famous or in fact she is the current reigning princess of and descendant of a royal heritage, and she needs to go to the other world and resolve the secret which is causing a huge problem in the other world. So she's just shuffled into the other world, and it is all these stories which she has been hearing which comes to her aid to help and resolve it. So that's what the basic plot of the story is all about. Now the third prompt is to read a book which is closely related to immigration and immigrants, and it's a story about the immigrants. So for this I have chosen Front Desk by Kelly Yang, and obviously this is about Kelly's family who have immigrated and they are staying in the US, and Kelly's parents are working at a hotel, and they try and they are responsible for the room service, and Kelly tries to help them every morning before she goes to school by trying to help out at the reception. And Kelly has plans of studying in very good universities in the future. So how does she work all that out? So that is what this story is all about. So these will be the 3 books that I'll be reading for, or I'll be attempting to read for Beth's theme of Diaspora. Now let's come around to the theme of Lee from Darkroot's creation, and her theme is teams. So her first prompt is to read a book which has a story wherein there are 2 strangers who are teaming up towards a common goal. So for this I have chosen Naomi Cypress's Sisters of Glass, and this is a story about an ancient shard of glass which connects a pauper, an intelligent pauper, as well as a insecure princess together, and through this glass they have to communicate and try and save their respective lives and their respective kingdoms, etc. So that's the basic gist of this particular story. The second prompt is to read a book in which there are two friends who are teaming up together. So for this I have chosen another survival story by Rebecca Behrens, and this is Alone in the Woods, and this is about a trip which these two girls take, and unfortunately they are lost in a forest, and they too have to team up together and they have to coordinate and cooperate. So within that they do find the ifs and buts about their friendship, and they survive together, and that's what the story encompasses, about learning more about each other and growing closer to each other and cooperating towards surviving and coming out alive from these woods. And the third prompt is to read a book which has an entire family teaming up together. So for this I have chosen The Second Best Haunted Hotel by Corey Putman Oakes, and this is about a business, a family business, which has been running for 200 years, where there are ghosts who are working as cooks, as well as there are other very spooky characters who are working to serve in the hotel. And unfortunately there is a promising competition which appears in the street across this particular hotel, and there is another haunted hotel which is getting opened, and this particular family has to get and piece everything of itself together so as to ensure that they also survive and they do not lose their customers, and they can try and increase the spookiness of their haunted hotels to have or to provide a better experience, a hotel experience. So this is what this story is all about. So these will be the three books that I will be attempting to read for Lee's theme challenge. So those are the few books that I planned on reading for Middle Grade Mayhem. Do let me know what you think about them, and also if you liked this video and if you liked the books that I selected for these particular prompts. And do also let us know if you will be joining all of us for this very fun-filled readathon, and mention all about it in the comment section below. And with that, I will be wrapping up this video. I will see you soon next week again with another video. So till then, take care, have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.